Are you going to be the person that stays in awe and wishes to be the next person who walks into the room and compares themselves to them? Or are you going to be the person who's going to walk into the room and her aura says it all because you are confident within yourself and your abilities? You don't even think that you're better than anyone, but you know exactly what you have to offer. If so, keep watching. Just to clarify, not everybody is meant to be a main character. I can make an example of a leader. Not everybody is also meant to be a leader. Some people are just meant to be disciples and just basically do what the leader says, but just also add their own value. It's not to say that people who are not leaders are not significant, because they do provide value, and that is valid within itself, because the leader does require that, because there's not going to be a successful team if there isn't a leader and there aren't people who also add their own value but understand their position and their role within a group. This is for all my girlies and all the people that basically want to be main characters, who want to take charge of their own lives because they're done being extras. Which leads me to the first segment of today's video. One thing about the main character is that they take initiative. They don't wait for anyone and they do not need permission from anyone. Whereas the extra is constantly seeking permission from other people, and they're waiting for other people to tell them what to do because they are unsure of their own decisions. They wait to depend on other people because they believe they can't take calculated risks. They believe that they will make a mistake and they're too afraid of failure that they have to get validation from other people. They have to get the approval of other people in order to do something, even if it's something that they themselves want to do. But a main character doesn't care about that because a main character knows why they're doing the thing that they're doing. A main character is able to speak up for themselves in cases where the extra stays absolutely silent. I know there are a lot of people who stay silent in order to avoid conflict, but a lot of extras love to play it safe, so they would rather stay silent. Even if they know that they have something on their minds, they're not willing to put it out, or they're not willing to say it because they themselves think that it's not good enough. They have made themselves believe that they are not good enough. They themselves have created this own narrative of themselves, and in most cases they become one of those people where they constantly need this validation because they themselves don't even have that belief within themselves. And main character is able to speak up for themselves because they're not willing to let someone else belittle them when they know that they can stand up for themselves. It doesn't mean that they engage in conflict every single time. Of course, there will be times when they will be like, wait, what that person said is absolutely invalid and it's not even true. And they know that that situation and whatever occurred, it doesn't serve them, so they're not going to pour their energy into someone who is an absolute loser. Main character is able to speak up for themselves even in situations of like it's not going to result in conflict, but in cases where they're able to speak up because they know what they have to say is of value and everybody's going to benefit from it. A main character is able to set healthy boundaries with the people around them, whether that be acquaintances, friends, or partners. They don't care who you are, they're going to set those boundaries because they know that it's healthy for them. Because they know if they end up in a relationship or in a situation where there is no boundaries, the person is going to become way too comfortable. Which, you know what, that's something that that's something that the side character has to suffer with, because they mainly focus on wanting to people please. Because they have no sense of self-worth, they rely too much on that validation that they have on other people, so they overcompensate. They basically sacrifice whatever they want and their desires in order to accommodate other people in the worst possible way, because you can do that with good intentions but still get a bad result, which is the result of not even being your authentic self and for people just loving you for being a people pleaser, which is not a flex, by the way. If people love you just because you're a people pleaser, that's not a flex. They do not even know you. A main character is able to set boundaries and they are okay with being the bad guy, because you want to call them the bad guy, so be it. They're gonna own it. They don't care about the perception that you have of them because they are focused on them. They're way too focused on what is happening in their lives and what they want to achieve and where they want to go. for them to care about like something that's not even factual, that came from an absolute loser. Exactly. This is why the main character is always going to be the star of the show, because especially in this case where they're not afraid to be the bad guy, you have to really own it. If that's how people want to perceive you, people want to perceive you as a villain, let them. There are 8 billion people in the world. Why do you care about an insignificant person who you're never going to talk to, you're not even aligned to, and it's just like, why would you ever put yourself in that position? In any case, if we're being honest, the villain in the story, the villain in these movies that we watch, makes the story better. And it's just like, just own it, because that's gonna be a moment in your life where you're gonna experience something good. You're gonna experience some sort of transformation that's gonna change your perception on things, and you're gonna grow. And you're gonna love that for yourself. But imagine if you had people pleased. Imagine. Because they're on the sidelines and no one ever noticed them. Do you ever notice those girls in the movies or whatever? They could be mean girls, whatever you want to call them, but they just want to have their moment. They just want to have their moment of screen time. They just want to have their moment of like just having that spotlight. And it's like they will do anything to drag the other character down in order for them to gain some popularity, for them to have some sort of image or some sort of like reputation based on that. And it's like some people in real life do that as well. Some people will drag you down, keyboard warriors, calling you out. Some people will like literally drag you for like the most minuscule things, and it's like, how are you finding the time out of your day to say some shit about some other person? It's like, how bored can you be? That's how you know that there's nothing going on in this person's life, because they are extras. They are side characters and nobody cares about them. So that's why they need to feel like they need to drag you down, because as that quote says, they talk about you because if they were talking about themselves, nobody else would listen. So the thing is, they drag you down because they feel like that's going to make them better, but it never does, because it just shows how much they're lacking in their lives and how insecure they are. Another difference between a main character and an extra is that the main character is able to take risks while the extra is willing to play it safe. And they only do this because they just don't want to put the 100% into something, because maybe they may not believe it's good enough. Maybe they don't believe that they're good enough, or what they're putting into their project or whatever is good enough and it will succeed. Whereas the main character realizes that she is abundant, that she wouldn't have gone through all of these years of living if there wasn't a purpose, or if she wasn't going to grow, she wasn't going to elevate. She realizes that I'll take this risk, and you know what, if I fail, then so be it, because either way I will grow and God will lead me in a different direction. They have that type of mindset. Who wants to have the mindset of just constantly, always in their lives playing it safe? Will you ever get to the place that you want to go? Will you ever get to the place that you want to be? Which leads into my next point of like the main character being this confident person, and the extra always being this person who's basically uncertain about things, and merely because they're not confident within their own craft. A lot of extras and a lot of people that we know in our lives are very like pretentious, and they will try to be this other person. They will try to be a different person in front of different people, because they want people to have a certain perception of them, and because they want to be likable, and because they want to be relatable. But a main character is authentic, and they know exactly who they are. They are unapologetically themselves, and they don't care about being relatable. They don't care about being liked by everyone, because they don't like everyone. So what's the point in having everyone that likes them? Because if in any case everybody likes you, that means you're playing it safe. That means you're being the extra. That means you're just doing what the mass are basically doing. Because you know what, the main character doesn't care to change the narrative or the perception that other people have of her, because she is already confident in who she is, and she's okay with that. And if somebody else doesn't like that, then hey ho, she doesn't care. And another thing about extras is that they will never be able to have that sense of like emotional intelligence, and here's why. It's because they are not resilient enough. Guys, in every single movie, in every single novel, you will see that the main character goes through the absolute most. They go through so many like adversities and whatever that they have to overcome. They aren't even able to regulate their own emotions because they have been too stuck in their comfort because they don't want to face all of these challenges that are thrown back at them. They haven't built that sense of resilience. In turn, where the main character has built up that emotional intelligence because she has learned to regulate her emotions by facing those challenges, and then in turn she will be resilient and she will have the emotional intelligence. Jackpot. Despite all the adversities, despite all the things that, may be thrown at them in their lives, they realize that, you know what, after this I'm going to laugh, I'm going to have the biggest blessings, I'm going to invite the biggest blessings. And they know that those bad things happen to them because they know that's the plot twist. That's what happens in almost every novel and every book. There's always a plot twist. Things don't always go their way, and they're like, okay, I have to be okay with this because blessings will come after it. And it's like, also character development. Like, do you see the goodness in just being the main character? Because you just start seeing the things for the way that they are and just stop being a victim, which like an extra would be, because they are going to be just sitting there on the sideline, always having this thing of like, oh, I can't fail, and all of these things. They're gonna have that type of mindset because they have told themselves that that's true, and that's what they're gonna believe in. Embrace all of those plot twists, because you know what, it just makes a good story. It just does. The thing about side characters and the thing about extras is that they have this victim complex, and there's nothing more than I hate than victims, you guys. Like, it's like they don't want to take accountability, always want to blame their circumstance because of where they are and whatever the case is. It's like, okay, cool, you can do that, and you can do that, but like, where's that gonna get you? The extras will feel like they deserve this special treatment because of what they have gone through. Nobody understands them, and they have this mindset, and it's like, okay, emo, okay, everybody now has to accommodate your needs and everything because you're special all of a sudden. It's like, no, you aren't. You are not. But you know the thing about main characters, they practice gratitude. They realize that they don't have to wait until something is ripped away from them, so until something is gone, for them to realize the good in it and for them to appreciate it. But oh, and you know what a main character does? A main character is not accessible to absolutely every single person. A main character is able to, see people and be like, okay, they are kind, they are nice people, but that doesn't mean that they're supposed to be in my lives. It's as simple as that. A main character chooses wisely into who she lets into her circle, because she knows that's precious, because she knows the people that surround you have a great influence on you. And literally, or that quote that says, you are who your friends are. So, if you check that person's circle, you kind of have an idea of them. Main characters know what type of people they want in their lives, whereas with extras, they are willing to welcome any single person because they just want to be liked. They just want to be loved, and they just want to be liked. And so they will take every single person, even if they're toxic, and even if it's going to end up in a one-sided relationship. The other thing about extras that I have personally met in my life, they constantly nag and complain about everything, and everyone is against me, and everybody's preying on my downfall. Like, be for real. Like, they out here saying that, oh, everybody wants me to fail. It's like, be real with yourself and just say that you don't want to succeed, that you are your own biggest enemy, that you yourself don't even want to see yourself in. So that's why you blame other people. A main character has a great sense of self-worth. They're confident, they know their worth, they trust themselves, and they have a level of resilience because they know they have overcome their challenges and they have faced their challenges head on. Have that sense of resilience because they haven't been playing it safe like the extra. They carry themselves with grace, and they are willing to grow. Very. Because you really have to ask yourself, what matters most to you? Being a people pleaser and living according to other people's opinions and perception of you, or just doing whatever the hell you want without the validation of other people. And the funny thing about an extra is that they are longing to be the main character in somebody else's lives. pathetic. Or, you know, would you rather be the main character that know that no other person will have a say in their lives because they can take charge over their own lives? No one is going to be able to take that away from them. Because the thing is like this, a lot of people say that they've lost themselves and they've lost their own power, but it's like you will never lose your power unless you give it away to someone. You have the key to your own power and you just handed the keys to somebody else. You're being a puppet. Somebody else is they literally have you by a string and they're doing whatever the hell they want with you because they know that you don't even want better for yourself. Instead of blaming other people for the way that they treat you, clock the way that you would treat yourself. Yeah, clock the way that you're being treated and tell that person if you do not like the way that they are treating you. Because if you're in a position where you don't like the way that other people treat you, it's because there's no boundaries. It's because that person is way too comfortable with y'all's relationship and where you guys are at, so that's why they're doing what they do. And you yourself are not even telling them that you're not comfortable with this and you're not willing to do this. You're just sitting there like something's gonna happen, like a miracle is gonna happen. No, you have to do that for you and nobody else is going to. And back to the thing that I was saying about the power, it's like no one can ever take away your power. Yeah, no one can ever take away your power because, you know, if they did take away your power, then you gave them that privilege. It was a you problem. It's a you problem, and you should stop blaming other people for having lost your power. Okay, on to the third segment, which is ways to be the main character, because we have already learned the difference between the two. We have already learned what it's like to be an extra and the main character's mindset. Now we want to become the main character in this new year because why not? Number one, take ownership. I'm not going to even elaborate any further. Just take ownership, okay? Take ownership of all the things that you've done, even if it's like things that your past version has, you know, done or said. That version of you did it, and like you cannot turn back time to fix it. And it's like the least you can do is own it, because when you create excuses for yourself, you're only setting yourself back, because it's just showing that you are not willing to take the steps to grow just by being self-aware. Like that's the first step, just being self-aware. And if you can't even be self-aware, child. Number two, learn to say no and set boundaries with those people that you know you need to set boundaries with. And you know, boundaries doesn't even have to be this thing of like have to be a bad thing. I feel like if you're in a situation where someone makes you feel bad for having boundaries, bad for saying no, clock it and cut them off, because they do not respect you enough to respect your boundaries. So what are we doing? A main character establishes her boundaries with partners, friendships, whatever, like all the people in her lives. She has established boundaries and those people should accept them. And a main character knows that if people do not accept her boundaries and they do not respect them, they can go. The door is wide open. And you know what, the main character always makes that known. It's like, if you mess up, if you do one thing to disrespect me and you just betray me, they know that the door is wide open. So they know that the people in their lives wouldn't do anything to basically jeopardize that. And that's how they're able to keep all of these loyal and people who treat them well. Because you guys keep asking like, how do you get people to treat you nicely? Boundaries. Stop by saying no. And if someone makes you feel shit for saying no, 3, I need you to realize that as a main character, you cannot help or save everyone. Because there's some people who just don't want to be saved. Okay, there are people who just don't want to be helped. And there are people that, you know, you always want to help and you just, you know, you're feeling bad for them because maybe like you guys have been friends or whatever. You guys have known each other for years, you guys have known each other for time, and it's like that's understandable. But if the person themselves doesn't even want good for them, if the person themselves doesn't even have that level of self-awareness, it's completely useless. All your work and all your energy will be put to waste because that person doesn't even want them for themselves. It's one thing for someone to want something, but if they first of all cannot identify it as that, then what's the use? They themselves know that it's not a part of their identity. It's not something that they even want to associate themselves with. It's like, what's the use, you know? So just Stop wasting your energy on those people and help those who want to be helped, just like God, because God helps those who help themselves, period. Another thing is, as a main character, you do not want to be engaging with beef 24/7. Now look, when you go through this transformation in your life and you change and you evolve, there's going to be a lot of people who don't like that. There's going to be a lot of people who are not fans of that. But you know what? You shouldn't care. You shouldn't care. Those people are not at the level that you are at. Okay, and that shows a lot within itself. It's like a lot of people are not going to be happy with that, and a lot of people are going to maybe want to stir up drama and say all of these things in order to get you riled up and make you remember things of your past because they just want to lure you back in. But you know what you have to do? You have to stay firm and you have to not entertain them. That's the key to literally also overcoming or escaping or spotting a gaslighter, a manipulator. Do not entertain them, because by entertaining them, you are showing them that they still have this power over you. And if they see that, I still have that power over you, they're gonna keep on doing it, whether it's like frequently or it's not as frequent. They're gonna keep on doing it just to drag you back after you've literally taken 8 steps forward. They will take you 10 steps back. So do not engage in all of the drama and everything. It's like, just let it be. If somebody wants to create rumors about you, let them be, babe. Because as I said in the beginning, they just talk about you because nobody else is interested in talking about them and everything. So let them be. You are the main character in their lives. It's literally like clown behavior. So let them do whatever they want to do, because whatever. If you ever find yourself in beef or whatever, just handle it, with grace. Handle it like a queen, like a matured person. Another one is that a main character knows their worth, and that is why they'll be treated like they're the prize. A main character, especially in this sense, is like a princess. They know that they're the prize. You know that they are the one that is very sure within themselves and know exactly what they have to offer. They do not have to yap about it to every single person, like, oh, I have this and I have that. No, they know. And they know that other people know. They don't have to say it. It's like confidence. You don't have to nag about, oh, I'm confident. So if you want to be treated like a princess and everything, just act like one and you shall receive. Honestly, it all starts with you, guys. Like, let's be for real. The main character not only has unwavering confidence in all her achievements and her abilities, because we know that extrinsic self-confidence, but she also knows that she is still capable and she is still worthy even after any failures or setbacks, because her sense of self-worth is up here. Second last one is that a main character is authentic. They will be themselves no matter what, and they will not change for anyone or anything, because their dream is not to live up to societal norms in order to satisfy society, because at the end of the day, you will never be able to satisfy the world. You will never be able to satisfy society within itself. It's like, so why even bother? They realize that, and they know that there's power in just being the person that they are right now. They know that they can start something with who they are right now and just turn it and manifest it into something that's even greater and that the world hasn't even seen. Main character is not going to sacrifice their values, their beliefs, and their morals for society, for the world. A main character embraces pain because they know that's the only way that. Last but not least, a main character embraces pain because they know it's only going to make their story, aka their life, more interesting. It's only going to, leave them room for elevation, for growth, and for new people to enter their lives so that they can experience all of these good things and all of these blessings. And that's on period. And with that being said, you guys have come to the end of the episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It might be one of my faves because it's just a nice topic. I really like it. Let me know if you guys liked it and if you would like to see more content like this. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. And just do one thing for me. Be a main character.
Smile. Yeah.
Big period.